Inflation in the United Kingdom has surged to a new 40-year high and is now in double digits. Britain is now facing rising food prices, a worsening cost of living crisis and the prospect of a recession.
A warning from the IMF, central bank intervention, disorderly currency movements.
Now the British pound has fallen to its lowest level ever against the US dollar.
Under the uncertain shadows, the UK economy might be in big trouble. People are talking about a possible collapse by the end of 2024 due to rising prices, an unstable job market, and the aftermath of Brexit. The situation is making the country's future look very shaky, and it feels like a storm might hit soon. In this video, we will delve deep into the UK economy. In the United Kingdom, there's a scary feeling about the economic situation. Things might get really bad before 2024. Experts are saying that the country might have a big problem soon. It's making everyone, including the people who make the rules and the regular folks, feel really scared. They're all hearing the alarms going off about the money situation and thinking they need to act fast to make things better. The International Monetary Fund thinks that the UK might not do very well compared to other countries in 2024. They expect the UK's economy to grow only 0.6%, which is much less than what they thought before. This happened because the rules about how much money is available have become stricter, making it harder for businesses to succeed. This is also because things are still quite expensive in the UK, especially energy.
We've got the monthly GDP print out of the UK, and Mark, I'll come to you for thoughts on this. That looks to be weaker than expected. We had a surprise positivity to last month's data set, so here we get a perhaps slightly more disappointing picture. The last month was supported by a rebound from the coronation and the movement of a bank holiday, so it was a little bit difficult to read.
The UK is facing some other problems. Inflation, which means prices going up, is higher than in many similar countries. This is because not enough people are working, and energy costs have gone up due to some issues in Ukraine. The IMF thinks the prices will stay high, maybe around 3.7%. Although the interest rates have gone up a lot, some experts think we haven't felt the worst of it yet. This might make the UK's economy slow down a lot. And some people even think the UK might go into a recession, which means it's not doing well at all. The Bank of England is planning to keep interest rates high through 2024 because the UK is facing a tough time with slow economic growth and prices for things staying high. According to the International Monetary Fund, the UK's growth has already slowed down quite a bit, which is not good news for the government, especially as they are getting ready for an election year. People generally think that the UK's economy will not grow much and might even start to go down. The UK's Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has warned that the UK might have a recession next year. This is because prices for things are staying high, and interest rates might go up to more than 5% before the election. This could make it harder for people to borrow money for things like houses or loans, which would affect millions of families. Some experts think the Bank of England might have to make the UK's economy go into a recession to control how much prices are going up. As the week ended with troubling economic news, Chancellor Jeremy Hunt faced severe backlash for seemingly suggesting that the ongoing difficulties were an acceptable consequence, despite the significant financial burdens already endured by families due to an unrelenting crisis of rising living costs. The general sentiment is that almost no one feels financially better after the government's 13-year rule. The public's primary concerns revolve around mortgages and the increasing struggles to meet various financial obligations, with mortgages playing a significant role in these challenges. If the issue of rising interest rates persists, there's a serious risk of intentionally triggering a recession. The surge in UK government borrowing costs in the financial markets reached the highest level since Liz Truss's tenure, raising doubts about the Prime Minister's ability to fulfill his commitment to cut inflation in half this year, which is one of the central promises of his leadership. Andrew Sentence, former decision-maker at the Bank of England, said that Sunak's promise was a mistake because the Bank of England has been responsible for these things since it became independent in 1997. The official numbers showed that the UK's inflation rate didn't go down as much as people thought, staying at 8.7% in April. Even though energy prices didn't change much, the cost of food went up a lot. Now, financial experts think that the Bank of England might raise its main interest rate to as high as 5.5% from the current 4.5% before this year ends. Even big lenders like Virgin Money are raising their mortgage rates, making it more expensive for people to borrow money to buy houses. Just a few weeks ago, the biggest building society in Britain, Nationwide, also made their rates for new mortgages go up by as much as 0.45%. Following troubling inflation numbers that created instability in the financial markets, MoneyFacts, a financial data firm, reported the withdrawal of 38 mortgage products, and experts cautioned borrowers to prepare for fixed-rate deals of 5% or higher. The Conservatives' prospects in the upcoming election would be most favorable if people's living standards were getting better and if interest rates were decreasing. The economy has actually been doing slightly better than expected in 2023. But if this leads to persistent inflation and the Bank of England has to take more aggressive steps to control it, the resulting economic hardship could significantly impact the government at a particularly inconvenient time. According to the expert, if the Bank of England has to keep interest rates high for an extended period, it could lead to a situation of recession or almost no growth. The combination of factors such as persistent inflation, the necessity for the bank to raise rates even more, and the increasing costs of borrowing raises the likelihood of stagflation. Stagflation means that the economy is struggling to grow, and at the same time, prices keep going up. This situation could hit people with lower incomes especially hard, making it even more challenging for them to manage their expenses. The expert emphasizes that inflation is the main cause of economic instability and the key factor behind the global slowdown. It's the primary threat that could potentially trigger a recession. Inflation is identified as the number one adversary, calling for a cohesive approach from both monetary and fiscal policies to address it and avert a recession. The potential recession is seen as a consequence of decisions made by the government itself. Rishi Sunak's commitment to economic growth seems to have fallen apart, and the government's inability to control inflation is resulting in a sharp rise in mortgage rates, contributing to ongoing economic turmoil under the Conservative administration. Some people are criticizing Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt for not taking action to lower energy costs and manage food prices. Instead, they seem to have not done much while inflation continues to rise significantly. During his recent visit to Japan for the G7, Sunak seemed hopeful about the economy, mentioning various indicators that suggest things are improving. He highlighted the optimism expressed by chief executives about investing in the UK and argued that real household disposable income was better than expected. However, the opposition criticized his statements, claiming they were disconnected from the reality of people facing financial constraints during this period of high living expenses. Despite a slowdown in the job market, inflation continues to stay stubbornly high. This means the politics related to how much money is available will need to stay strict for a bit longer, even until 2024. The International Monetary Fund thinks that next year the UK's economy will grow the slowest compared to other advanced countries in the G7 group. However, even though there was a prediction earlier that interest rates might go up as high as 6%, it's now expected that they will only reach 5.5%. At the beginning of 2023, the IMF thought the UK's economy would shrink by 0.3% this year, but now they think it will grow by 0.5%. The IMF is closely keeping an eye on the potential worldwide consequences of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Although it's too soon to determine the exact effects, if oil prices were to remain consistently 10% higher, it could reduce global growth by 0.15 points and add 0.4 points to global inflation in the following year. This underlines the significant impact such geopolitical tensions can have on the overall global economic landscape. Since the conflict began, there has been a notable 4% surge in crude prices, signifying growing apprehension about possible disruptions in both oil production and transportation. This escalation in prices adds complexity to the cautious approach central banks were contemplating for facilitating a seamless economic transition. As a result, there is a heightened sense of concern among financial experts regarding the potential impact on various sectors, including transportation and manufacturing, as higher oil prices often translate into increased operational costs. Moreover, the heightened geopolitical tension surrounding the conflict further exacerbates the uncertainty in global markets, emphasizing the need for careful monitoring of the situation's potential economic reverberations. Before the unexpected attack on Israel by Hamas, the International Monetary Fund pointed out that even though there were a lot of different things happening in the past few years, the growth of the economy had stayed strong. Although the economy was slowing down, it hadn't completely stopped. The IMF also mentioned that it didn't see much proof that wages and prices were going up too fast together, but it told central banks to be careful not to lower interest rates too quickly, as that could cause some problems. This means they were advising the people in charge of money to be cautious so that the economy could keep running smoothly. The IMF mentioned that many things that were making it hard for the economy to grow had started to improve since their meeting in Washington in April. For example, the World Health Organization didn't see COVID-19 as a big global health emergency anymore. Additionally, the ways that things were being made and moved around had mostly gone back to normal. Additionally, the situation in the US and Switzerland had gotten better after their governments took action to control problems in their banks. This means that some of the things that were causing trouble before were not causing as much trouble anymore, which is good news for the economy. While concerns about the UK economy are certainly valid, it's crucial to approach such warnings with caution and consider a range of expert analyses. Staying informed through reliable sources and paying attention to various economic indicators that can provide a comprehensive understanding of the situation is the way to go. Engaging with knowledgeable professionals and staying updated with the latest developments can help in making informed decisions and preparing for potential challenges. What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more financial insights.